fixed everything we suggested.
Huh? Really?
Everything we suggested.
Oh, he's in his own world, man. He's getting ready for all this stuff that's going on. But I hope everyone had a good, I guess, off season. So. A lot of things have gone on. One of the things I think that's important to mention first is, obviously with our guys and their, commitment that we want to make to the community. I know a lot of guys did some youth camps here, did some fundraising, whether, it was early on after we had just gotten done with camp or just right before we started, or some of the, players back in their hometown. So, that's something that we want to make sure that we're committed to. And, just a couple of days ago, obviously, it was unfortunate. Tony Sperano, passed away, who's obviously, my relationship with Tony goes far back, when he was at, Boston University. I was at Northeastern competing against him. Then obviously over the years being, part of the offensive line group, became close to him. And it's just a shame. And, obviously it hits close to home for us. His son, Tony Jr. is here with us, and he'll be up there taking care of, the responsibility of his family, his wife and the rest of the family. So, our thoughts and prayers are with him. And, I told him, make sure you take care of everything and make sure, your mom's good and the rest of the family's good. And so I just hope that we can all hold, his family in our thoughts and prayers. And I think you can see how well respected, his dad was, amongst the community, and you've seen a lot of things come out, not only from just former coaches or people that he's worked with, but former players. And that's one of the things about coaching. You can, touch so many people's lives. And, obviously Tony touched a lot of lives, and he was part of mine. So I appreciate that. The next situation is obviously, I'm sure most of you know today, it was tweeted out, Jalen is now a proud father of a baby girl, Breland. So we're excited for him. This is something that we did know about probably about 6 months ago, that Jalen had made me aware of it, hey, that this can be a situation, that comes up. We've been in constant communication, and basically what his plans are now is he just wants to make sure baby and mom are okay, all right, once they're okay and they're settled, and then we expect him to come back here. So, again, I don't have an exact time for that, but we want to make sure, just like all of our players, that, there's a balance, and family's important, as we get ready to step onto this field and start preparing, for the upcoming season. So he's there. The two roster designations that we want to talk about is obviously, Dante Fowler's on the PUP with a left shoulder, so he'll be working to strengthen that shoulder. You'll see him on the side working out there, and then when the strength level comes to a point where we feel very comfortable, obviously our doctor clears him, then we'll put him on the field. David Greenidge was injured during the running test when he came in, just on left knee. So, really we're looking at him trying to get better and get back out there. And then Brandon Smith just had a non-football injury, just has a cut that we're just waiting to heal. So this way, to put the pads on. So you'll see a lot of those guys working. And then really outside of that, we're expecting everybody else on the field.
Is Greenwich Pup that?
Excuse me?
Greenwich is Pup thing?
Yeah. No. Yes, he is Pup. He is Pup. We did put him on PUP. Yeah.
Doug, how long does it take for you to see the retention level, and if it's a level where you and your staff are pleased with?
I think the challenge is, how do we, we talked about this as coaches, how do we do a better job of teaching? How do we do a better job of developing? To think that we're going to go and do the same thing that we've always done, we have to be different. There'll be change, and we've got to make sure that, we do the best job we can to the players. I think, like everything else I look at in football, is it's what you see on the field and what you see on tape. That's where you see the results of, the hard work, the preparation, the technique, the development, and really everyone's involved with that, from, nutrition to the weight coaches to, obviously the coaches and the players themselves. So, that's when you start seeing if it's coming together. Otherwise, I think it's kind of BS.
The outside expectations are obviously they run the gamut. There's some people that think you might be the AFC favorite. Others think you may take a step back. But the players themselves seem to have a Super Bowl or bust type attitude about this season. Number one, do you like that, or do you just prefer not to really discuss specific expectations and just work every day?
Yeah, we discuss, specific expectations, and I think it's like everything else. Like I said before, I think a lot of times right now there's always this thought on the future. What's going to happen in the future, which it's a ways away now for us. And people get caught in a conversation, or people get asked a question. For me, I've been used to it now for a long period of time. When people say, "Hey, listen, my expectation today is this. My expectation is this." We have 90 players, that are going to be here. 53 are going to make the team. So what really my expectation is to make sure that we go out there every day and compete. We're winning everything that we do, and try to find the best 53, on this team. I think once the team's formed and the team is made, okay, then I think you start looking towards, getting ready for what you're going to do towards the season. Even though some guys may think that they're here, I still think I like working from, a position of being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Meaning that I want to be uncomfortable. I feel like I'm not really looking too far ahead, because I've always believed if you look too far ahead, you're going to lose the day that you had. So for us, today's a real, really a pain in the butt day, meaning that it's like all this organizational stuff where you're going through policies and equipment room, media, all the stuff that we're doing with the players. And I have a majority of that meeting, with the players, today, at 1:15, which is really on my mind because there's so much information that we have to give them. And the thought process is try to get them all this information, and then, hey, let's start working on football, what we want to do and what we want to accomplish. I take it, I guess, Gene, to answer your question, I take it on a daily basis right now, because it's still far ahead, and we have such a lot of work, to do, and it's a long ways to go to even start talking about the season, because, we're not ready to play a season right now, and that's why we're in training camp.
Okay, but that said, would you feel disappointed if you didn't go at least a step beyond next year?
I'm always trying to get better. I think, it's very simple for me. Winning and losing, all those battles, I think anytime you lose, you feel disappointed. Anytime you win, you're looking to say to yourself, okay, what could I have done better? How do I move forward? I mean, I just think it's in human nature. If you and I were playing a game right now and we were tossing pennies, okay, and to the curb, like I did when I was a little kid, which I'd probably beat your butt in. But anyway, tossing pennies to the curb. Yeah, I still practice it a little bit in case I ever go back home. But we toss those pennies. But my point is, if I did lose that, I would be upset. If I went out on a day fishing and I didn't catch any fish, I'd be pissed off. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's the same thing. If, in my mind, I have each day what I want to go out and be able to accomplish as a team. And when it doesn't happen, obviously I'm disappointed. And the first person I look at is myself. What could I have done better?
With that said, do you approach this as we didn't really accomplish jack last year because you didn't win the division, you didn't get to the Super Bowl? That's how the team said a lot of that. Some of the players have said that's how they're approaching it.
I can't speak for the players. I can't speak for any individual player that might have said those things or done that. So again, I can only I don't know. Did I miss something?
Sorry. Yeah, no. I was yes. Sorry.
I did miss it.
No,
I'm sorry.
The division, yeah.
Yeah. I can't. My job is to make sure they get focused on the day at hand and win the day.
Outside of today, how much does the daily process differ from the regular season during training camp?
I mean, I would use the word grind. I think it's a grind. I think it's something that, we talk about, coaching stamina, player stamina, you know what I'm saying, how to keep that focus for that long a period of time. You're talking about, starting a day at 7, by the time you're ending the day, it's about 9 o'clock at night. And really you're going through a lot of different things, not just, football in the classroom, out on the field, in the weight room, in the training room, nutrition, all that stuff going on. It's a time for us to be together. I think it's an important time. I think it's probably one of the most important times to get to know your teammates, get to compete, do those things. And I've always looked at it as a sacred part of kind of, how we train and what we do. It's kind of that, lack of a better term, maybe that bunker type mentality, when you're in training camp. And then I think once training camp breaks, then obviously there's a little bit more free time, but you hope that you've built the right foundation for it to carry over when you break camp.
The guys said last year that they were a little taken aback by the grueling nature of the camp. Do you change anything for them this year so they don't kind of feel comfort knowing that they're going to get like that, or to kind of stress them, shake them up a little bit, or you can just kind of go with what you did last year?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some things that we've changed up. You know, I don't know if anyone's going to notice it or not. Things that we need to work on, things we want to get to a little bit quicker, things that we feel like, you know, can help us as the season goes along, or help us be better prepared for when the season begins to get more work on some certain situations. So I think that's in there. But as far as, you know, what we want to look like on the field and our expectations of, you know, running from drill to drill, competing in every single drill, trying to win every single drill, you know, that thing remains the same. And, you know, everyone's motivation is different. And that's kind of like how Mike's question was, or Gene's question was, you know, how those guys think of, you know, what they want to do and what they want to be, you know. But I'm the person that's in there saying, hey, listen, what are we doing today? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, fine. You all guys want to get there, but my job is to make sure we do what we do today. So I think the players understand. I have a hard time, again, having been around the league prior to the collective bargaining agreement, where I look at this as being tough or a grind. I just look at this as trying to get the team best prepared, you know, that I can in my philosophy to be able to play a season.
Because you did have that grueling camp last year, and then, you know, there was a payoff. A lot of the guys talked about how training camp really set them up for success last year. Do you suspect that because of that some of those little grumbles or things will be easier to overcome from guys, particularly for newcomers, because the guys who are around here have been through it and know what it can result in?
I mean, my philosophy has always been I like a little grumbling, to be honest with you. I think that if you don't have, you know, if there's not a little bit of grumbling, then maybe you're not doing the right thing. I mean, I really believe that, and that goes back to, you know, being a little bit, you know, making sure that there's some you know, being uncomfortable. You know, so I believe that. It's hard. I don't put words as grueling or grinding because, you know, obviously a lot of us that played before have been through tougher situations. And, you know, I think the players understand. I think the ones that have been here, you know, can kind of understand what it's going to be. And but they understand why. That's the most important thing. I think people get into what's tough, what's this, what you're trying to do. It wasn't like I was trying to shock a team or do something different. It's just my philosophy of really what I believe that you need to do to get ready to play this game and play it at a high level. And we want to be able to play it at the highest level we can.
You were remarkably healthy last year. How much of that was the plan that you put in place with Milo and that staff? And if it was, is that the same plan this year?
Well, I think, you know, we're always looking to get better, you know. So, you know, we went out and we looked at a couple of things that, you know, maybe some, you know, other sports may be doing to help their athletes. So, you know, we're constantly trying to educate them. They're actually educating themselves, you know, on the outside because, you know, it's amazing to me. I think that's probably the biggest part that I have seen is the individual attention once the player leaves the building. You know, as far as, you know, who's working with them on nutrition when they're not around here, if it's not someone on our staff, you know, the different types of therapy that go on for each player may be different. So, you know, we're looking at a couple of things to try to help ourselves because we're always trying to make this game a safer game. We're always trying to make this game a better game. But I think a lot of that, you know, goes on the athlete, making sure that they're prepared and their nutrition. But we're working on our end to give them that information and make I guess some things available, you know, for recovery and things of that nature that we might not have had before.
As you looked at it, because I'm sure you studied it, did you see where a lot of that effort of education and promoting certain things paid off in, I mean, can you attach them?
Yeah, I think, you know, I think, you know, the way you train, the way you get yourself ready, your mindset, and I think those things all contribute to it. You just, you know, sometimes you just can't help it. You know, the injuries are going to occur in this game, and it has nothing to do with how you prepare to what you do. But, you know, a lot of times, you know, it could be, you know, not being hydrated enough, not doing something off a checklist that can cause, you know, a strain or you to miss some time because, you know, the goal is when people think injuries, think out for a long period of time. You know, I actually think of it as, hey, listen, don't lose your reps, don't lose this. So even if you go out just to get retaped or done that way and you miss reps, you know, that's a missed opportunity, and you won't want to do that at this time of year.
Coach, do you have a reaction about Marcel's situation, and what have you spoken with him, met with him?
Yeah, what situation? I don't even know the situation.
Well, the court situation with Marcel.
Oh. I'm sorry, you said Marcel. I thought you said Parcells. I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry. No, that's me. That's my fault. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a civil situation. I know just as much as everyone else here knows, you know, that what's been written. And, you know, it's in litigation right now. So we're just going to see how, you know, what goes on with that, and just go from there. But he'll be playing and practicing.
All right, the last two, we'll Mike and then Seth.
How quickly do the contact practices kind of expose a player for better or worse in your experience?
I mean, I think, you know, contact's a big part of the game. I think that's something, you know, that, you know, we talked about with, you know, you got to watch what you're doing, you know, from a standpoint of how much you want to do with the players. I think you play the game of football and there's contact involved, so you want to evaluate players if they can have contact or not. It's a bigger part to me because we just went through OTAs and minicamp where you don't have contact, so you don't want to be misled into either way, either to thinking that, hey, this guy's going to be great, or, you know, I don't know. I think what happens a lot of times is someone that maybe you weren't feeling good about before steps up because of the contact, and then someone you're feeling good about, you know, might step down. So, but I don't think you can see it right away. I think that's why you have to have, you know, those days of contact, see how you go against each other, see how you go against other people, and that's why the preseason's big. And that's why I think a lot of times I challenge the coaches and I challenge myself that, you know, when we start out, I try to move people around, switch people in and out at times just to see how they do against different matchups. I think one of the problems that come in camp where, you know, if I'm in camp and I'm playing against this certain player each and every day, you know, maybe I don't match up well with that player and he's going to win a little bit more. Well, then the coaches are down. But then all of a sudden, you know, I go against 5 or 6 other players and I'm dominating those players. You might lose that if you don't have that movement, you know, in what you're doing to put together different matchups.
All right, we'll finish with Seth. A couple times you mentioned about being uncomfortable. One or two areas where you're uncomfortable right now with the camp opening up, what would they be?
Everything. You know, you get uncomfortable. You know, I think the closer you get, you know, but I get uncomfortable for the reasons that I want to do the best job I possibly can. I don't get uncomfortable because I don't think that I can do that. You know, I become uncomfortable saying, hey, the way I'm going to say this to the team, is that going to get the message that I want to cross? You know, the way we're going to practice, is this going to be the best way for us to practice? You know, and then making sure that we go out there and get the best out of everyone. So, you know, for me, you know, I just think there's a lax, at least for me, my experience, is that, you know, if you ever feel you have the answers, if you ever feel you have it, if you ever feel, I think you're going down the wrong path. And that's something that I've never wanted to do. And I think that, you know, you've got to be hungry. You've got to want it more than someone else, and you've got to be able to work for it more than someone else. And I think that when you work for things, you know, obviously it's a whole lot harder to give it up if you worked extremely hard for it. And that's what we want to do. We want to work hard enough so when we go out there, we feel like when we take the field, you know, we have an opportunity to win, and we've paid the price. And that's what we're trying to do now.
Thanks,
all right, appreciate it. Thank you. Yep, appreciate it. Thanks for all the gifts.
Ted tried to take the AFC South title. Didn't win the division.
I don't know. They backed into it.
It took 18 fucking years to win the division. You try to take it away in 6 months.
How'd the camp go?
It went real well. It went real well. Real well. A lot of kids came out. A lot of the volunteer coaches. It was good. It was good.
So, how does your daily process differ during training camp than in the regular season?
In every way. I mean, I think now, I think we're making the joke. A lot of people work, you know, 9 to 5s. We work 5 to 9s around here. So it's that aspect of being here all day, locking in to what you want to do and what you want the team to become.
What's your thoughts about this? The strong side linebacker spot appears to be wide open.
Right. You know, I trust Wash. You know what I mean. I know that when it comes time, he's gonna have the game plan ready. But you know, we're still looking for a guy to take that spot and to take it over. We had Blair and the young Rook there, so we know it's gonna take time. But at the same time, that's something we don't got. So they're gonna make it happen.
I'm sorry. Did you have to get yourself mentally ready for the grind of camp, or are you so energized by what you think you've got out there that you were ready to get back here, eager to get back?
It's both. You have to mentally prepare yourself to segregate, or should I say, remove yourself from family, and just mentally be here with your teammates every day, all day, and know that you're going to get aggravated or you're going to get, frustrated. You just got to lock in, and especially for these first 3-4 weeks. It's always the toughest first couple days, but you're so joyous and you're so happy to be back. I think the first couple days is easy, then the dog days hit you.
You were one of the guys last year who was talking Super Bowl early in the season, preseason even. Is there any fear of setting the bar too high? I mean, I got Malik's talking 16-0. Super Bowl or bust was AJ's comment.
I think you can only set the bar too high when you don't believe it yourself. You know what I mean? I think this team is full of confidence, full of talent, full of hard work and dedication. So, the bar's as high as we said it. You know what I mean? It's not where can we go, it's where we want to go. And that's what we're working on right now, making sure that we go where we want to go come February.
But when Malik says 16-0, what are you thinking when he says that?
Well, it's the we want to be the best, and the best have done it. Right? Oh, okay.
You're right. You think you're the best team in the AFC right now?
Do I think we're the best team? I think we're the best team in the league. It's not that I'm knocking anybody. There's some talented teams out there. But if I don't lock in right now and believe wholeheartedly that my team will be the last team standing, I don't think you're not really ready for the fight that's about to come.
Telvin, yesterday you talked about having an appreciation for where you're at. Where are you at right now in your career?
Personally, and I'm at a point to where I can say I've accomplished a lot. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot, but at the same time, got at a crossroads to say your career can go, here in legendary status if you lock in now. And man, who will be in a situation right now, locked into a contract on a team like this? What more do you want as a player? You got your defense around you. So I know for the next couple of years, this is a situation that anybody would want to be in. It's just personally on me, on the players on the team to see what we're gonna do with it.
Are you chasing that legendary status?
I don't consider myself to be chasing it. I'm just on the that's my role. I picked it a long time ago. So now I'm just doing what it takes to achieve that status.
Kelvin, after going through camp with Coach Marrone last year, and then seeing what that resulted in, does that change, little grumbles during camp this year, or is it easier to describe to the new guys what it's like and what the payoff is?
I wouldn't say it wouldn't change any. Because when you see it, you know that you got to do that. It's so easy to think negative, and your first instinct is. But I think right after that, then we remember the outcome. So we take it right back to there and say, well, we did win. That's if you talk to anybody on the team, they say, yeah, we went hard again, with the hardest day. Well, we did go to the championship. So I think it fueled both sides in the sense of it made guys understand that this is where to get you and put that work in, but at the same time, hard work is hard work. It's still hard. You know what I mean?
First time you've come in the game, probably you personally, without having questions about the quarterback, right? And having to field questions.
Dang, that's good. Well, you just ended that one, right?
You're not getting
right. It's a question about the quarterback, about not getting questions about my quarterback.
Is that a nice change?
Well, to answer the question about not my quarterback, nah, I'm telling you, I think it just shows the test of the hard work of him. You know what I mean? Wanting to show that, I am the quarterback of this franchise. He is our quarterback. And then, to show that this team is, we're going to get behind him and play. But it's just hard work and dedication going into it. I think this is the point that we all knew would be happening. But now we just got to go out and make it happen again, or the questions are going to come back.
What's the next level for this defense?
the next level for this defense. And that's it. I think is every great defense has won it all. You know what I mean? And that's what we want to be, a great defense. It's not mediocre. It's not, you know, it's not to say I won a couple, you know, championships and nothing. Nah, we want to say we dominated the world. So that's the next step. I mean, but at the same time, it's just honing in on the little stuff, honing in on the. Me and Claes was talking, and a couple times last year, I think he said it was 4 times last year in games that we could have got our offense the ball back, or it was on the defense to stop them. And all 4 times, we did not get to stop, and the team ran the ball on us and stuff. So we got to have that mentality of crunch time. You know what I mean? It's not, yeah, we know we're not front runners. That's not our, you know, we can bang with you, whatever, but we just got to put our foot on your throat, keep it there from the beginning to the end.
One of the things you talked about yesterday was growing as a father over the offseason.
Yeah.
Any early advice for Jalen?
Listen, I think just get ready to diapers. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing. The diapers. But diapers.
He has an advantage having the kid right when camp starts.
And I think that's gonna be easy because everybody gonna be excited about the season. Congratulations, by the way. You know what I mean? So I can say it publicly. You know everybody like that when you say it public. Congratulations to Jalen. You know what I'm talking about? That's major. But you know, I think he's gonna be a great dad, man. Great guy.
You guys play the 3 other conference finalists this year. How much do you guys get up having to play teams like that?
Who are they?
The Eagles, the Vikings, and the Patriots.
The Eagles, the Vikings, and the Patriots, yeah. You know, all of that is great. But if we don't win week 1, then it's only, you know what I mean? So I think that's what we got to do. We got to tone our. Don't get me wrong. It's great to talk Super Bowl. It's great to talk 16-0. But you don't get to 16-0 without 1-0. So we got to make sure that we understand the ultimate goal and don't get outside of it, getting ready to play these games, and make sure we focus on the one that we got first.
And Puzz's retirement, you know, you gave an impassioned speech. You talked about how he taught you how to be a pro.
Right.
Okay? He's gone now. You've always been described as the vocal leader. Him gone now, how does your leadership role change?
I think it's just more. Instead of being vocal, we always said we looked at Puzz and we knew he was going to be there, or we knew he would be doing, whatever was on the schedule, or whatever he needed to do. And I think that's where that's where my role has gone to. It's now I'm the guy that shows up and calls the meetings and be early to the meetings, and when the guys walk in the meetings, I'm there and setting the tone for this. And sometimes I have to be the bad guy to the players, and you know, but it's that sense and more. Not saying I wasn't doing, but I gotta be on every time, like, and that's, you know, exactly, hey, type deal. But you know, that's a part of growing too as a player. You know what I mean? Especially when you the oldest guy in the room, you got to take that. So it's fine.
Motivation you guys got to this year be like the #1 ranked defense against the run?
How much motivation we have to be the #1 ranked defense against the run? It's not just against the run. It's just to be the best, and it's not necessarily we're chasing the #1. It's just when we outright the best. You know what I mean? You just say they the best defense. They were the best defense. There's no question. They made the plays, but you don't leave it no question by again, it's championships. When I don't care what happened, as long as everything gets to a certain point, I think it'll be solidified. So we just got to make sure when we get to that point, we're ready to solidify ourselves.
Thanks, so.
Yep. No problem.
Giving me a hard time on the first day.